Jack Stauber is known to be a unique animator, musician, and songwriter. He was born on April 6, 1996, in McKeesport, Pennsylvania. Stauber's journey in music all started in high school when he began to learn to compose music on a computer and synthesizer. He would listen to experimental pop, rock, and was heavily influenced by anything vintage from the 90s. Today I'm going to talk about one of his videos titled Opal. This film explores unique imagery and narratives. The surreal film appeals to a diverse audience, mainly including adults and those who are interested in deep introspection. The film allows viewers to personally reflect on the themes of self-discovery, identity, perception, and growth. In the opening scene of Opal, we are presented with four characters sitting in a room, including our main character, Opal. Opal then spots a dark, decrepit house from across the street and freezes. Her mother quickly closes the blinds, and her father tells her not to worry about it. But curiosity takes over her, and she sneaks out through her window. As she enters, Opal comes across a blind old man sitting on a chair across the TV. The man believes she is someone he knows named Claire. After a while, the old man claims Opal smells weird and asks why she hasn't said anything. He starts to suspect Opal is not actually Claire and yells at her to get out. Opal then quickly runs upstairs, but then she is seen by a man with mirrors surrounding him and obscuring the view to his face. He asks why she didn't greet him and begins talking about how he's glad he doesn't have Opal's ankles and how he looks better in her outfit. At this point, we can see that this character is heavily narcissistic and is insecure about his appearance, hence why there are so many mirrors. Opal keeps running and enters a room. As she does, a woman grabs her ankle, causing her to fall. The woman asks who she is due to not being able to see clearly, likely caused by the intaking of pills and alcohol seen in the background. The woman also assumes Opal is Claire and begins to ridicule Opal, saying how difficult her life is and how she needs a daughter to take care of her. Finally, Opal sees the top window she saw at the beginning of the film and looks through it, but instead of seeing her own house she just came from across the street, she sees a billboard for Opal's Burgers. She begins having a breakdown and retreats into her own thoughts. We then return to the same family from the beginning of the film, and she smiles. The scene then zooms out of the house, and we see Opal curled up in the same room as before, where it's revealed that the house she's currently in and the billboard are the only two things located on the street. So, what does this all mean? In the ending, when Opal looks out her window, expecting to see her house, she sees a billboard titled Opal's Burgers, with a little girl holding a burger and the same family members from the beginning scene. Opal realizes this, and the scene pans out, revealing that Opal is actually Claire, and that the eerie dark house is her real home. This means that the beginning scene with the happy family members and normal house don't actually exist. This is because, in reality, Claire lives in an abusive and neglectful household with family members that don't care for her and use her for their own personal gains. So, as a coping mechanism, Claire uses escapism and creates an idolized version of the family members from the billboard across her window to replace and escape her real family, even taking the name Opal. The problem with this is that due to Claire being in this imaginative state for so long, she's led to believe that the perfect family she's created is real, and this causes her to completely forget about her real family members. In the beginning of the film, when Claire sees her real house from out the window, the family tells her not to worry about it and quickly closes the blinds. This is most likely Claire's subconscious trying to protect her and keep her in her imaginative state as a form of protection. As Claire sneaks out of her imaginative house and goes into the dark house across the street, she's actually really leaving her fantasy state and returning into her real world. Then, Claire goes through the house and rediscovers what her family is really like. This all becomes too much for Claire, and she retreats into the imaginary family from once before once again. There are several rhetorical examples throughout the film, starting at the beginning when the perfect family says, "We see you, Opal, your troubles are miles away." The first line is referencing the idea of sight and how Claire just wants to be seen by her family. The second line means that Claire is still in the illusion and is far from her real home. The theme of wanting to be seen and acknowledged is very prominent in the film and mentioned several times. During the film, all the characters are too busy paying attention to themselves that they never actually see Claire, both metaphorically and physically. When Claire first enters the eerie house, she interacts with the grandfather who's clearly blind but also infatuated with smoking and watching television all alone. Due to these factors, he could not even recognize Claire and even mistakes her for a stranger breaking into their home. The next character she engages is the father, who also cannot see her due to his vision being physically obstructed by the mirrors. The father only communicates with Claire about her appearance, using her to boost his ego and reassure himself of his looks. The last character is the mother who cannot see Claire due to either being intoxicated or taking medication causing her vision to blur. Not only that, but she does not see Claire as an individual person and uses her as emotional support. Nearing the end of the film, we can see Claire's face being put on different items showing how she's used by the other family members. Lights above the imaginary perfect family can also be seen foreshadowing that those lights are the same ones being shined on the billboard, which is the only thing Claire knows outside of her house. The main type of animation used is claymation. It provides an entertaining way to display what's happening using a storytelling process. Another important aspect is the music and sound effects. The mix of visual features and musical effects can evoke compelling genre, emotions, and mood. The sounds throughout evaluate and support the emotions throughout Claire's journey, immersing the viewers into the film. In conclusion, the short film Opal by Jack Stauber is a surreal psychological short film that has themes of isolation, self discovery, identity, and helps bring awareness to situations like these.